Hi again, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Inside Cowboy Football with head coach Lance Guidry. I'm your host, Ron Hayes, here with Coach Guidry. And, Coach, we're in a different setting this morning, it looks like.
Yeah, we got kicked out of Delta, I guess. I don't know. We're in the office.
Your office.
That's right.
Right here on the campus of overlooking McNeese State University's football stadium. And you had an off week, Coach.
Well, I don't know if it's ever an off week. We didn't have a game. But, we this week we hopefully we healed up a little bit, and we got our coaches on the road recruiting. So, I mean, we went from Dallas to Houston to New Orleans to Mississippi to everywhere trying to find the next set of Cowboys.
Heard you did yard work, too, kind of squeeze that in, huh?
Yeah, I had to go home and do some honeydews, but we got it all done at the house as well, and hopefully it pays off in a lot of ways.
So you achieved everything you wanted to achieve, football-wise and yard-wise as well.
We did. And looking forward this week coming up. We got, of course, homecoming.
Yes, sir.
Got Incarnate Word, so the Cowboys are ready to get back on the field.
All right. Fans, stay with us. We got a show for you today. We'll be right back after this break.
Inside Cowboy Football would like to thank the 2017 show sponsors.
Delta Downs, we're famous for exciting casino and racing action. And with a stunning new hotel, pool, and restaurant, the new Delta Downs is just too good to pass up.
So there's no cars in this commercial, but we're not going to talk about cars. We're going to talk about an experience. I think it's safe to say that people's expectations of their customer experience these days is pretty low. But you're about to spend your hard-earned money, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars of it. Don't settle for being treated like you're worth less than that. Expect a red carpet experience, not the same old shady salesman or bully manager or long hold times you're used to. All you have to do is raise your expectations and then look around and see who's left to choose from.
Tricks or treats all month long at Delta Downs. This October, you could win up to $2,500 cash when you play Cauldrons of Cash, only at Delta Downs. Just take I-10 to Vinton. Visit deltadowns.com for details.
Welcome back into Inside Cowboy Football. And, Coach, let's go ahead and look at the remaining schedule for you Cowboys. We've been away from football for a week. We've got to get back on it.
Well, of course, this week, the most important week, we're playing Incarnate Word, of course, for homecoming. And after that, we go to Central Arkansas. Over there on their turf, which is a very colorful turf, of course. And then we come home against Southeastern, also got a home game against Northwestern, and then we finish out with Lamar over there on the last game.
Well, this is a serious part of the schedule here.
It really is. Of course, the most important game is the next one, which is Incarnate Word. But then you look at the next two games, and that's two that we have kind of circled on our schedule. Of course, Central Arkansas beat us pretty good last year. They shut us out, beat us 35-0, and then we lost a heartbreaker to Southeastern last year, which was the week before the Central Arkansas game. So it's kind of reverse order this year, but we got them both back to back again.
Okay. All right. Well, fans, let's look at the Southland Conference schedule, or standings rather, and Central Arkansas, as you mentioned, at the top of the heap.
Yeah, Central Arkansas hasn't lost a conference game. They got one loss on the year. They had a tough one this past week against SFA, but I kind of knew it would be. Coach Conk, who used to be the head coach at Central Arkansas, so I know he had a lot on that game. Nichols survived one. Northwestern and them played, and a couple weeks ago, Northwestern was up on them. They played ACU this week, which was a tough game again. Of course, Southeastern is kind of the dark horse in the whole thing, kind of like us right now. They've formed one. Sam Houston barely got by this week, so it's a tough conference, Of course, we're sitting at 5. We all got one loss with 3 wins or 4, except for Central. And you go down the schedule, of course, everybody else had got multiple losses: SFA, Abilene, and Cornet, Northwestern, Lemoore, and Cornet Word.
Well, Coach, you were talking about those two games. Central Arkansas at Stephen F. 24-20. Central Arkansas pulled it out, but they had to score with less than 3 minutes left to go to win the ball game. The score was tied at halftime, so they had a job.
They did. Game. And each week there's probably 60 to 70% of these teams in the league that can beat the other team. It really doesn't matter what the records are. There's a lot of good matchups, and sometimes it's different matchups that people don't think a team has a chance. But this league's crazy. It always has been. Anybody can beat anybody.
Well, Sam Houston used to be the powerhouse, but now they had their hands full beating Northwestern 40-36 over the weekend. Sam Houston's defense was put to the test, it looked like.
Yeah, Northwestern was able to run the football on them, and that's probably the biggest problem that Sam has right now is defending the run. I think this week they play Southeastern, which ought to be a really good matchup. So you never know, but Sam's going to put up a bunch of points. You know that.
Well, both teams had to come from behind to win the games.
They did, Central and them, and so it's going to go all the way down to the end. The only thing that we can do is just worry about the next game. We control our own destiny. We know if we win out, we're going to be conference champs because we play UCA, and if we beat them, I'm going to give them one loss. So all the football's in front of us, as they say.
Okay. All right, Coach, thank you very much. Fans, it is homecoming week. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but more importantly, we're going to have an interview with President of McNeese, Dr. Gerald Merkel. All that after this pause.
At Delta Downs, we're famous for exciting casino and racing action. And with a stunning new hotel, pool, and restaurant, the new Delta Downs is just too good to pass up.
Game time. It's time for Market Basket Smokehouse Sausage and Boudin. Tailgating at the big game or grilling on the patio before kickoff, Market Basket Smokehouse is your winning team. We make all our sausage and boudin in-store with 7 unique blends of sausage and 5 award-winning boudin recipes. And remember Market Basket party trays from the Bakery Deli and fresh fruit or veggie trays, perfect for pre-game appetizers. Market Basket and Market Basket Smokehouse, the winning team.
It's tricks or treats all month long at Delta Downs. This October, you could win up to $2,500 cash when you play Cauldrons of Cash, only at Delta Downs. Just take I-10 to Vinton. Visit deltadowns.com for details.
And now let's go to our interview with the president of McNeese State University, Dr. Gerald Merkel. Dr. Gerald Merkel, president of McNeese State University, thank you so much for making a little time for us today, by the way.
Thank you for letting me be here. I always enjoy this.
Well, I noticed we're in a locker room, and I'm going to think that when you played Dr. Merkel, the locker room looked a little bit different from the way this one does here at McNeese today.
Yeah, the locker room I was associated with was much smaller, more cramped, and these lockers about twice as big as what we had. So it was a little different.
When did you play here?
1977 through 1980, those 4 seasons.
What got you to McNeese in the first place, Doc?
It was an athletic scholarship brought me here from Metairie, Louisiana.
Okay. Would you have would you have been able to go to university or college at all had you not had an athletic scholarship fund?
Well, I could go, but I mean, it was going to be completely out of pocket. You know, I mean, I was going to have to find a way to make money and pay to go to school. What the athletic scholarship allowed me to do was come to school at no cost and get an education.
How did you find McNeese?
McNeese found me. I really didn't know much about McNeese. I knew they were in the west part of the state. Matter of fact, I knew they were in Lake Charles because I came here in a Babe Ruth tournament. They had the state regional tournament here at Legion Field.
Okay.
And stayed with the guy, they put us in homes at that time. Stayed with a guy by the name of Robert Ehlers, who's now a good friend, and, stayed with him and his family. And when he was, I think, I was 15, he was probably 14. So we stayed in that home. So I was familiar with Lake Charles and McNeese State. I knew that they had won the Independence Bowl in '76, the year I was being recruited.
Okay.
But they didn't recruit me till after the Independence Bowl, after the season was over. A coach from Rummel High School, where I went to high school, knew Bob Hayes. They went to school together here. And so he called Bob up and said, you may want to come look at this player that we have. Everybody's passing on him, but we think that he can play. And so, y'all need to come look at him. So they did. Basically, they just sent me a plane ticket and said, bring some film with you. So flew me up over the Christmas holidays. Nobody was in the dorm. So I went to Ziegler dorm, stayed downstairs in Ziegler dorm by myself. There's nobody on campus. There's nobody here.
Come on.
Yeah. And so gave him the film, and Richard Ellender,
Sulfur product,
ex-local guy, played for the Oilers. He kind of took me around that evening, and basically he took the money that they gave me to go, to spend. He took it. And so that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
You take the money and you just kind of go buy him dinner, and then you take the rest of the money.
Yeah, you go to McDonald's, right?
Yeah, he taught me right. When you entertain a recruit, you make sure you get the money from the recruit.
Got it.
And then buy him a hamburger.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
So anyway, Richard showed me around, which was great. And the next day, I went to breakfast with Coach Bowles and Jack Dolan, who was the head coach.
There you go.
And we went to, it's now a Mexican restaurant right there on Ryan Street.
Okay.
And it used to be a Sambo's, kind of like a Denny's.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Cancun's now.
It's Cancun's now.
Sure.
And we had breakfast there, and Coach Dolan started off by saying, we really like what we see on the film and all. And then the magical word came, which everybody else was telling me was but. But we just don't think you're tall enough to, play. You don't have the size. I was 5'10", and they just wanted somebody a little taller. And so, I'd heard that from about every school in the state that was recruiting me would say, now you're just not big enough. So I told Coach Dolan at the time when he said that, but I said, yeah, but Coach, if my eyes were another inch higher in my head, would that make me a better football player? And he said, no, it wouldn't. And you know how Jack laughed. That old laugh he had. He started laughing. He says, you got a scholarship.
Come on.
That's how I came to McNeese.
Well, how about
I had to fight for my scholarship to get here.
And your whole life was impacted by that,
my whole life was changed. It was transformed, really, by being here. Grew up, matured, but also had great people here on the educational side. Not just, there were great people athletically. Coach Bowles, Coach Dupleshan, Coach Debitaz, John McCann, Coach Dolan, all those guys really shape your life from the football side. But there were people on the academic side who invested in me in my education, who shaped my life academically. And it just changes your life. And so the power of a college education is real. Now, Coach Dolan, said education was important, but he wanted you on the practice field. He wanted to win the game. He wanted to win that game.
Sure he did. Sure. My dad often called a diploma a passport. It's a passport that gets you into doors all over the world if you want to pursue them.
It transforms your life, Ron. It transforms not just your life, but your family's life.
You're a living example of that.
I'm a first-generation college student.
There you go.
And it has transformed our lives. That's right. My kids' lives.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so let's look at McNeese today. You're president of the university. Sure. Your dream has come true in a sense, I would think. Your goals for the university now that you're in the chair, that you're where the buck stops. What are you looking forward to, say, in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, we want to make sure that we are a viable, top-notch university in our area. We want to be first choice of students because we're the best choice. We want to be excellent in everything we do. We offer very high-quality education. We're going to recruit students to be here. We want them to have a great time and enjoy themselves. Remember, part of being a college student is being a college student. It's not, they're here for education, but they want an experience. And we want to make sure that they have a great college experience, that they enjoy themselves, that they, really coming onto a campus these days is like going to around the world, because you're meeting students from at McNeese over 64 different countries that we have students from. So you're getting a real international type feel for just being here in Lake Charles on our campus by seeing the diversity that we have in our student body and our faculty from many different nationalities. And so we think we will provide a great experience. So yeah, we want to be not just relevant, we want to be students' first choice for their education in our area.
What I'm seeing too, Dr. Merkel, is you're upgrading facilities all over the place. I mean, obviously we're in a very modern locker room here for football, but just right across the parking lot, you have a basketball and a volleyball facility second to none that's going to be opening next year. That's really a showcase of
That's right.
progress in your facility.
That's a $40 million health and human performance facility that's going to house our men and women's basketball team, our volleyball team, also with a practice facility. It has seating capacity of about 4,100. But not just that, we're going to use it for many other types of
You have
activities.
classrooms in there as well.
We have classrooms in there. We're going to use it for graduation. We're going to use it for special events. Also, we're going to make sure it's a revenue source for concerts and other types of activities that could be held there. But we want to set the standard in terms of facilities for our conference. I mean, when other teams come here, and I'm telling you, when you talk about football in general, teams love to come to McNeese to play because they're playing in front of a full house. Yeah. They're playing in front of a very good crowd, and they don't get that at all of their venues. And so, when they come on campus and see the facilities that we have, they realize that, we're probably at the upper level of the Southland Conference in terms of facilities.
I can remember Dr. Merkel when we had playoff games and visiting teams would come in and they would see the tailgating and they were stunned that a school our size would have the enormous participation by the alumni and the fans out in the parking lot. And they were just overwhelmed by, what do you guys look like a major school out there in the parking lot? And we actually do.
Sure. I mean, that's one of the great things about our events is that they're social events, right? We have, people use it to socialize and to visit with one another and have a good time. And one thing you know about people in Lake Charles and Southwest Louisiana, they know how to pass a good time.
Yes,
and they can cook up a meal at an instant and have a good time. And that's what you see at our tailgating. And that's pretty. It's not unique to Louisiana, but on the scale that we have it here for a school of 7,600 students.
That's the enrollment out.
The enrollment now is about 7,600.
Okay, that counts the dual enrollment students as well.
That counts dual enrollment students. So we, over the next few years, in the next 5 years, we'd like to see that go to 10 to 12,000.
Okay.
We're making a big push on our enrollment, which in all honesty, is the driver of our budget. And so without that enrollment, our budget suffers.
Well, you've had to endure some really severe budget cuts in the last 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Do you look for the next 8 to 10 years for that to continue, or you're hoping you're going to get some relief in that regard?
The fact is that our budget has gone down by about $6 million for the past 5 years. Now, that's because the state cut us from $43 million down to $16 million. Okay, so the state funding has gone down substantially, which meant in order to stay revenue neutral, we had to increase tuition on students. So we're raising pretty much the same amount of money, just that we've had a decline in enrollment for the past 5-6 years of about 1,300 students. So that's been a loss. In today's dollars, that's about $7 million of tuition that we're not receiving. So if we can get our enrollment back up, that's going to give us a good opportunity to plan. The most important thing from the state is just be predictable. If you just leave us alone and not cut us and not make me find a way to replace the money you took, just be predictable for us, then let us then dictate where we go from here.
Dr. Merkel, we appreciate your time. We appreciate the conversation.
Sure,
good
Ron.
luck to you.
Well,
and as always, good luck to the Cowboys.
Well, go Pokes.
Yeah, you go. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach Guidry, I'm going to tell you what, that's one impressive guy.
Really, really impressive. I'm glad he's my boss. Of course, I'm a little partial to him. Of course, he played on defense at McNeese on the blue wall. I played DWA, but I really think that he's going to do some great things here. And, first-generation graduate like myself. So
impressive.
I can really look up to him, and I'm just glad that he's managing the ship. And I think McNeese is definitely on the rise.
Oh, I promise you, from the sounds of that, I'm ready to suit up, Coach. You don't want to see that, but I am ready to suit up. All right, fans, stay with us. We're going to be right back with more of Inside Cowboy Football right after this break.
At Delta Downs, we're famous for exciting casino and racing action. And with a stunning new hotel, pool, and restaurant, the new Delta Downs is just too good to pass up.
So there's no cars in this commercial, but we're not going to talk about cars. We're going to talk about an experience. I think it's safe to say that people's expectations of their customer experience these days is pretty low. But you're about to spend your hard-earned money. sometimes tens of thousands of dollars of it. Don't settle for being treated like you're worth less than that. Expect a red carpet experience, not the same old shady salesman or bully manager or long hold times you're used to. All you have to do is raise your expectations and then look around and see who's left to choose from.
For nearly 85 years, Merchants and Farmers Bank has provided dependable personal banking for Central and Southwest Louisiana. I saw your new boat last week, Chuck. Looks like fun. We have 8 convenient locations, checking and savings accounts, online bill pay, mortgage and personal loans, even a new app that allows you to take a picture of your paycheck and deposit it. Can't wait to see your kitchen remodel, Pam. Come in today to open a personal account. Merchants and Farmers, your future begins with our history.
It's tricks or treats all month long at Delta Downs. This October, you could win up to $2,500 cash when you play Cauldrons of Cash, only at Delta Downs. Just take I-10 to Vinton. Visit deltadowns.com for details.
Well, Coach Guidry, there's been some high points up to this point in the year and a couple of plays. Why don't we take a look at them? In fact, we're going to take a look at 5 defining plays up to this point this year. We start out Florida Tech.
Florida Tech, looking at the Florida Tech game, Alex Jelston, we end up having to punt the ball, and it was a bad snap. He ended up fumbling it, taking off running to his left. He ended up kicking the ball right before he got tackled. The ball ended up going toward their end zone. Their returner muffed the ball, and we got it, which flipped the game really, and that was a big key moment in that game in Florida Tech.
Which part of that do you coach?
All of it.
Good. Very well said. Okay. The Alcorn game, Kent Shelby.
Alcorn State, Kent Shelby's TD catch was huge. Kind of put us over the top, of course, and then we ended up taking a stand defensively at the end. But Kent Shelby definitely TD catch was key in that game.
All right. HBU.
HBU was huge. Of course, we threw an interception. They almost ran it back for a touchdown. DWA had a goal line stand, but Corey McCoy ended up stripping the ball from the running back and also got the fumble. And that was huge in that game right there, and kind of, got us back on top in that game with momentum.
Needless to say, the key play in that ball game.
It was the key play. We ended up getting a safety. They got us for a safety on the next play, but we were able to kick it out, but we saved the touchdown, Corey McCoy, on that play.
Good job. Good job. That gets us to Stephen F. Austin game.
Stephen F. Austin, a couple big plays in that game. One could have been right out the get-go when the freshman defensive end that we activated, Cody Roscoe, ended up getting an interception. But I think there was none bigger than right before the first half ended, right before second half. DWA had a goal line stand, and the quarterback took off running. We had a big hit and stopped him short at the goal line. I think it was a Shorey Goins, and almost knocked him out the game. And that was a huge play to go in at halftime with no score. We had him shut out.
You're a momentum builder.
Momentum builder, definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, Coach, at Abilene Christian.
Abilene Christian kept knocking on our door, but probably the biggest play in that one was they went for it on 4th down, and they ended up going to Wildcat, direct snap to their running back, and we blitzed off the edge, and Dominique stopped them short, which held them out of the end zone. Of course, that was a close, hard-fought game, so that's probably the 5 defining moments in the last 5 games.
I like the balance, Coach, between the defense and the offense. You got several plays that were the defensive team rising to the occasion, several plays the offense rose to the occasion.
Yes, sir. Offense played a big part early on, and then defense lately.
All right. Well, fans, we're going to do something now that we've not done thus far this year, and that is the Delta Downs question for the coach. It's a trivia question, and the question this week is, which former MSU Cowboy owns a record for the most block kicks in his career? Fans, if you know it, keep it quiet. We'll be right back.
At Delta Downs, we're famous for exciting casino and racing action. And with a stunning new hotel, pool, and restaurant, the new Delta Downs is just too good to pass up.
So there's no cars in this commercial, but we're not going to talk about cars. We're going to talk about an experience. I think it's safe to say that people's expectations of their customer experience these days is pretty low. But you're about to spend your hard-earned money, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars of it. Don't settle for being treated like you're worth less than that. Expect a red carpet experience, not the same old shady salesman or bully manager or long hold times you're used to. All you have to do is raise your expectations and then look around and see who's left to choose from.
Here's the places. These are the people. They are courteous, attentive, knowledgeable, in a word, professionals. So great prices, great products, awesome people. This combination is the reason Southwest Louisiana has voted Pumpelly Tire the #1 tire store year after year. We're honored and thankful, and our pledge to you is your continued satisfaction. Pumpelly Tire, Ruth Street in Sulphur, Ryan Street, Lake Charles.
It's tricks or treats all month long at Delta Downs. This October, you could win up to $2,500 cash when you play Cauldrons of Cash, only at Delta Downs. Just take I-10 to Vinton. Visit deltadowns.com for details.
Welcome back into more of Inside Cowboy Football with head coach Lance Guidry. I'm your host, Ron Hayes, here with Coach Guidry. And, Coach, when we took a break, it was trivia question time. Now you've had time to think. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to phone a friend or nothing?
No.
All right. Which former McNeese Cowboy owns the record for the most block kicks in his career? And the answer is?
That would be probably the greatest defensive player that ever played at McNeese. Definitely the greatest defensive back that ever played, Leonard Smith.
Leonard Smith.
Yep.
What a guy, huh?
What a great player.
What a guy. Leonard, 17 career block kicks, punts, field goals, points after, led the NCAA in that category in both the 1980 and 81 season. Coach, did he just have blind speed? Was that the key? Or he had quick reflexes? Or what was his secret for blocking all those kicks?
I think Leonard had a combination of great speed, but very strong, and had great leaping ability, and he was fearless. So a great combination of block kicks.
Yeah, great all the way around. All right, it's homecoming week, Coach. We mentioned that at the outset. What does it do to your team? Y'all have anything different prep-wise?
No, not really. Of course, they'll have a parade and they'll have a pep rally, but everything's going to go just like a regular week. Other than that, so getting started with the week, practicing on Tuesday, and just go through our regular procedure, and gonna have a lot of folks back to watch the Cowboys, and that's always fun seeing some guys that's played here and come back to see how the Cowboys are doing. So it's going to be a big time game, I think, for our Cowboys.
Coach, the team goes through, I think, the homecoming parade on Thursday night. Then you have a pep rally here. I just want the public to know they're invited to the parade, to say the very least, and to the pep rally.
They're invited, and we ought to have a good showing. Last year was a good crowd, so hopefully it'll be the same thing.
Well, Coach, homecoming week, good luck to you and the Cowboys. And fans, don't forget, big game Saturday night, Cowboy Stadium, in the hole, University of Incarnate Word coming to town. We'll see you there.